How's it going, everybody? Sir Mitcho here, back at you with another One Piece video. Got a deck video here for you today. Got Purple Luffy over here. So, let me just move myself down here. That way you guys can see this better. So, yeah, we got Purple Luffy. I'm still running the Magellan. I like it into black and yellow. I think it's good. I got Frenosuke with the 2Ks. You also got the 5-cost kids. The 6-cost Sanjis, the 9-drop moms, the 5-drop queens, just the standard blocker package for purple. I still have 2 of these in here. It comes in handy sometimes. 4 of the new Usohachi, the Sanji, the Zoro, and the Luffy. This is kind of what everything's based around in this deck now. And then we also have 4 of the Jet Gatling just because we need the counter. And this deck's a little bricky, I'm going to tell you that. What you can do, and what I've done on paper too, I didn't do it here today, but you can get rid of these 2 kids and a mom and put 3 Namis in the deck, and it does play a little bit better having that cheaper blocker that you can. Let me bring her up here quick just so you can see. But having that card in here also is definitely playable. I'll try and showcase that like next week. But as you can see here, you get the blocker, and then if you have 8 or more Dawn, you get the trash a card and draw 2 cards, which it's just good, especially later in the game. This deck struggles to keep cards in hand. I've found. But let's get over to this first game. I had a game here against a pudding, so let's get into it. I chose to go first. First turn, you're always gonna skip. There's nothing much you can do. You're Purple Luffy. You're waiting to get second turn. As you're gonna see here, this pudding just doesn't really do much. Just plays We Are the One Piece. And so you always swing 5. I always swing 5 at least before I do anything, especially if you have a lull. Sometimes you can get them to trash 2 cards and get 2 cards out of hand, but then you ramp. And here I was lucky to have the Zoro, so I played the Zoro and I grabbed a Sanji. And then next turn we're looking to play that Luffy Toro into a Sanji, as you can see here. So this deck, if you get the curve, it plays well. So that's definitely it's definitely nice. So as you see here, just swung 9 into me. I just take it at that point. There's not really any reason for me not to. I got some choices here. So there we go. We get the combo out, and we're gonna swing 6 into the pudding here, just to see what's going on with the hand, what they're willing to do, and then another 5, see if they're willing to take or if they're going to counter this time, which they do. They use the Usohachi. So you'll see here they play into that Katakuri that they had. Not very surprising. We knew they had that. They were gearing up for it. Then they swing in 5. So we have a pretty big hand here, so we're just going to counter out here. There's no reason not to. And then at this point, there's nothing really telling me that I should be playing anything here. So I have enough to go for the win here. So I just end up thinking a little bit here, but ultimately I end up just swinging out here. And you'll see that this pudding deck must not run a whole lot of counter, or they were just bricked up. So what you really want to do, no matter what, on your 8th Dawn turn with Sanji, is you want to swing with him before you do anything, especially if you're going to Dawn minus. You'll miss that. But Sanji's pretty crucial. You get him out. He's your card draw. But you'll see I swing 8, and we get it. End up taking another 8 with Zoro into life to see what I get. Swing another 8, and they end up forfeiting because we ultimately had more than enough, and you can see they were bricked out in hand. So they had all their 10-drop Linlins. All right, let's get into the second game here. We have a Marco. Obviously, still you just want to go first. It's just what this deck does. It's how you want to play it. So You're gonna see here he plays Ezo and just searches. Just his basically what this deck does. It just tries to stack itself up and, you know, try and get those big characters out later in the game. You know, like the 7-drop or 8-drop or 7-drop Newgate, and, you know, Dragon to rush in at the end. So you're looking to try and keep this deck at bay. I know a lot of people where I play, they have some pretty good success with Marco. I don't know how meta it is, but you know, I definitely thought it was worth showing. You know, I only had time to get a couple of games in, so I tried to bring out the most popular and meta decks that I was able to, you know, play against and actually do well, just to show you guys how the deck works. So you'll see there, I threw the wall down. He didn't have anything, so I couldn't really do anything with Wall's effect. No reason why. I just counter out here with a 2K. Try to keep my life so we can stay on curve. Right now, I don't really have anything to play with that Luffy, so it's looking like I'm probably gonna, if I do play the Luffy, I'm gonna play the Frankie with it. It's just how that works. But then I actually, fortunately, I just top decked the Sanji here, so as you'll see here, we're gonna end up swinging, or we're gonna ramp. And look, we ultimately pulled a Sanji off life, so we would have been good either way, thankfully. So we do the Luffy Sanji combo and swing 5 into life, and they counter out. So we're just trying to thin this hand out, and then ultimately hoping that they swing with some characters so we can kind of thin it out, and keep them from doing too much. So they send out another ESO here, you know, just searching, stacking that deck. So we're just gonna expect next couple of turns to see some big things. You know, this Marco's trying to been setting his deck up and cycle things through, just to keep things going. So we're gonna see another new card come out here. This Atmos, and it's gonna see it takes me a little bit here to kind of realize what's going on, what the simulator's asking, but it just wants you to confirm that they reveal cards. I don't know why it's doing that. It's the simulator. It should know that it's right, but whatever. So yeah, so ultimately they send the lull back to my hand. I don't have a blocker now. I end up countering out of this with the Frenosuke, just trying to keep my life up in case I need to ramp next turn, which, you know, that's always the fine balance between this deck, keeping enough life to ramp up and get your Dom back to where you need it to, or that. So fortunately, we top deck a Luffy off of life, so we're gonna play another Luffy into Sanji. And you saw there we had 8 Don, so we ended up drawing a card from Sanji, and that's how we ended up playing that whole combo. So Sanji really is the most important part of that, or Sangoro, I should say. Really, I think is the most pivotal card in this deck right now. Now, OP-8.5, it's not the greatest, but we're gonna be getting into OP-9 soon, and Purple's looking pretty good. We get some more cards for Purple. We're gonna have the 7-drop Sanji, the 9-drop Secret Luffy, and 1-drop Law Searcher. So the deck gets even better, and I think a Giant Gavel goes in the deck too. It's just another good card. So we're just gonna have to see. I think in the next couple of weeks here, once we get OP9, we're gonna see some fun things. So everybody's always gonna try to remove this Sanji. It's the most important thing for them to do playing against this deck. So if you can somehow keep it without using all your resources, you're ultimately going to be able to draw at least one of those cards back next turn. So you'll see they got rid of one of my Sanjis, which is to be expected with that Newgate. So I end up throwing the kid out here, which, you know, I tech him in, and you'll see here he does come in handy. It does boost my Luffy up to 6K here, which definitely is helpful, because that extra 1,000 power does come in handy here and there. So I'm just trying to get rid of Newgate now. And ultimately, he's going to drain his hand just trying to keep this thing around, which I'm perfectly okay with. I'm sitting at 3 life. I'm happy to make him waste stuff. So we just send the Sanji in again, draw our card, and then we try and get another life out, but he ends up having enough counter. But you're going to see here that he is thin on cards. So we're we're just boating our time now, trying to keep our board stacked and maybe try and get rid of big stuff as it comes out. We have enough counter in hand, especially, you know, we have two 2Ks and a Jet Gatling. So you'll see here he plays the dragon here, which is a 9K rusher for all of you that don't know. So it can, I mean, if he played this right and had enough here and I didn't have enough counter, he definitely could have done this. But you'll see here they actually swing at this Luffy, which I don't know if it was the right play. But I'm just gonna give it up because no matter what they do, I'm not gonna be able to save it. So I'm not gonna waste any counter on it. They're gonna get rid of it. So I'm just ultimately gonna get rid of it, and then they're gonna swing 9 into this Sanji. Oh no, 10, I'm sorry. And they swing into Luffy. I remembered wrong. But I'm going to save the Luffy because I'm going to need that for next turn to hopefully be able to finish this guy off. And I still have another 9K in hand. Counter's good. Marco can only at this point swing 8 depending on what he decides to do. So he swings 7 into Sanji. Really wants to remove it, but I have the counter to save it. Perfectly fine. They're trying to go for it again, and I'm going to use the last card because I'm pretty sure I can win next turn. That's at least the way that I looked at it when I played this. I thought I got to go for it next turn because I'm going to lose. So you'll see here, I know he only has 1 card in hand. He has no blocker, so there's no reason for me to not swing out here. Yeah, he might grab enough counter from life, but it's a chance I'm willing to take. So, you know, we swing 8 and draw our card just to make sure we don't get anything that we can actually play. And we're going to swing with Kid and get this 1,000-point power boost, which I'm telling you, it comes in handy. And at this point, we're sending a Dom back at 10 Don, and I can ramp and get another active Dom back. So you got to think about it in that way. Like it is a good game finisher. So we go another 9. So here we're down, and ultimately we have 11K to swing out, and unless he drew all counter, which he didn't, that won us the game. So game here is against a Vegapunk, which Vegapunk just won one of these big events, so I thought this was pretty relevant. And I always think this is a fun matchup with Purple Luffy and Vegapunk. I actually think Purple Luffy plays really well into Vegapunk. You know, that being said, he is very aggro the way that people are playing him now, so you also have to be careful about that. Not to get too thin, but it's just crazy that turn 1 they can drop 5 drops like this, which really can hit hard. So that's definitely something you got to watch out for. But you're going to see here very quickly, turn 3, he can swing with a 6K and a 5K on his first attacking turn, which it just hurts. Like, there's a reason why Vegapunk only has 2 life, so like, but man, this deck can do some damage against you. Fortunately, I drew pretty well here. I drew into the Zoro. So you're gonna see we're gonna play the Zoro, and we're gonna grab another Zoro, just to have it, just in case we want to search for, you know, some counter later on. Because really your second Zoro, I mean, unless you're playing all you have is a Luffy and do another Zoro to search for cards and search for the Sanji, your Zoro is really only going to be there for you to search for counter later in the game, to grab some 2Ks and kind of hopefully keep you alive. So you're going to see here how this deck over here across Vegapunk, he's you know, he can stack his life and get these triggers really going for him. So we play the Luffy into the Sanji here, you know, just a standard curve, standard combo with a, you know, you're gonna see here, if you draw these 3 cards and can play them on curve, this deck will perform extremely well. Except if you play into black, because black just has enough removal to get rid of all this stuff. I think black is ultimately the best color in the game right now. I mean, yellow's super strong, purple's super strong, and Dofi's right up there with being the strongest. But I just think black overall is the best color. So yeah, so you're gonna see they bring the Nami out here. they're stacking a lot of 5 and 6K bodies out here that can do some work. So this deck's turning more and more aggro as we go on. They have removal, they have stuff to get rid of me. So I'm just trying to bode my time here. The nice thing is no blockers, so like you can get some big swings off and hoping they don't have any counter in hand. Like right now, I have enough that next turn, you know, willing they don't have any blockers, I could ultimately try and swing out. You're also going to see that he can stack a blocker into his life here, which kind of keeps him alive for a couple more turns, but you're going to have to see what you're going to do. So thankfully, I only got burned some 1Ks here, because it definitely makes this not so bad, but this wouldn't be bad to get your 6K blockers up against either. Like getting all your 6K blockers out here against this deck, you'd be able to just block all these hits, but you're going to take up board space too, you know, for things that you need to attack. So you kind of got to balance that. So you're going to see here, he's just continually trying to whittle me down. And you're going to see there, he throws the shock in the life, which you're going to see that the trigger is play, and shock is a blocker. So he comes in being able to block. So it essentially gives him an extra life, so to say. So I'm just trying to decide what I want to play. I have 8 Dawn, so I'm trying to decide how I want to play this. If I want to play the Zoro and search, you know, maybe grab something out of that, or if I want to play this kid, and then ramp and be able to play another, you know, the other 4-drop card. But fortunately, I ramp here and I ramp into the Luffy before I do anything, which allows me to play Luffy into Zoro. And you're going to see here I grab a 2K, I grab some counter out, because I think I'm definitely going to need it with the aggro I got going on here. And then I take this opportunity to get rid of some of these bodies. It's not always about going at life, especially since going at life's just going to bring a blocker out here. I'm just trying to clear bodies off the board. And fortunately, I have less life than him now, so I can get rid of this Atlas. It's a pretty annoying ability, especially with how low of a life character Vegapunk is. So, you know, we're just biding our time here, trying to keep enough counter in hand, because they're not big bodies unless he stacks them up. And you know, we're just hoping that next turn, now that we have enough out, we can swing out. So we're just biding our time here. You're gonna see here, just swinging. I'm just countering what I can, just trying to keep everything, you know, keep my life, make sure I'm not a full big swing away from getting countered here. So they get rid of one of my Luffy Toros, which is unfortunate. But you're gonna see here that we have this nifty Frenosuke that we actually grabbed for counter. But I'm thinking that if I do this, I can win, because I know he doesn't have a whole lot of counter. Here comes the Shaka for a blocker. So I'm gonna stick 2 Dawn here on Zoro, and swing 8K, because that forces the 2 cards in his hand if he has 2 2Ks, but it also forces the block here. So he takes, which he was kind of thinking that, oh man, maybe I'll get another shock off the top and have another blocker, which he didn't get lucky. So I have enough that I can swing with Luffy now. I'm gonna put 2 Dawn on Luffy and make him 7K, so that it'll kill the Shaka if he blocks with it, or he has to counter. You see, I was thinking about doing 3, but it wouldn't have left enough for Frankie. So I swing 7 here at Vegapunk, and he either has to block or counter, which he doesn't have the counter. So you're going to see I use Frankie, and I get to use his ability and swing 6 in with the rush, and he doesn't have the counter, so there it was, a win. So sometimes that Frankie, that little bit of rush ability is going to come in handy against little decks like this that, you know, don't have the most counter, I guess, and stuff like that. You know, he has his little tricks with the blockers and stuff. So that's definitely something you got to watch out for. But stick around. I'm gonna be right back. We're gonna do the giveaways, and stick around. We're gonna end up doing the giveaways here in a minute. I'm gonna do a little wheel just so everybody can see that it was random. So stick around. Thanks. All right, everybody, we're here for the giveaways. We got the starter deck 14 Luffy to give away, and also the full play set of alternative Don OP-05 to OP-08 and the Kaido and Lin alt. So the way we're going to do this is I'm going to spin the wheel once. Whoever the first winner is will get to pick whether they want the starter deck or they want the Don and the secret. So, and then whatever they don't want, the second person will get. So let's get into the first spin here. Good luck, everybody. And it looks like our first winner is the basic skill. So congratulations, the basic skill. I'm going to remove you now so you're not in the running for the next spin. But congratulations. Message me and we'll figure out which one you want. And then I will let the second person who is here know what they're going to get. So let's get the second spin, everybody. Here we go. Good luck. And we got Ace 3623 is our second winner. So I just want to say congratulations to both the winners. Thank you guys for all the support on the channel. Stick around. We're gonna have another deck video like this next week. We don't really have anything to open, nothing new, and you know I just don't have any aspiration to really open any more product right now till OP-09 comes out. So thanks again for watching. Have a great one.